Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. In today's session, we are going to be talking about something that's almost every single organization is struggling. Yes, we are going to be talking about complaints. How are we handling complaints? Especially not talking about enterprises, not talking about individuals, but about how small and medium scale companies are handling and tackling complaints, especially when customers demand for a particular certifications, may it be ISMS certification, PCI DSS certification, HIPAA certification, etc. Gone are those days where we all have been using Excel sheets to follow up, Excel sheets to make notes of what all changes to be followed up for the meeting and the next meet and so on, right? And it has been a Herculean task for having policies, procedures, evidences, etc. handled on Excel sheet. So let us see how CISOGenie, a platform-driven GRC product, is going to help us understand how complaints can be handled a lot more effectively. So, having said that, I would like to welcome both Bala and Shankar for this webinar. And I am quite glad and excited to have both of you here. Yeah, Bala and Shankar represent CISOGenie. They are the co-founders of the product itself. And I'm quite excited to share a quick conversational witty kind of a chat where we just try to understand in layman terms of how CISOGenie is contributing in the fast ever-changing world of compliance, right? So to get started, both Shankar and Bala, I warmly invite you for this session. I'm quite excited about it. So number one, how does CISOGenie help small and medium scale companies on their compliance journey?
First of all, Vinod, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having us for this discussion, and thanks a lot for inviting us as well. And that too in the Data Privacy Week, I think it is going to be pretty important topic that we are going to talk about data privacy, about compliance, which is so critical for today's world and for organizations, any type of organization, right? So your question is, what is CISOGenie? How does it help, right? So to put it simple, it's a genie for CISOs, right? So that's why we want to name it very simple, CISOGenie. It is an automated GRC platform. What that means is it helps organization to manage governance, risk, and compliance in single place. It's a single pane of glass view, right? So it's built by people with about 40 plus years of experience, a combined experience in cybersecurity. The folks, who have actually worked as CISOs and faced these challenges every day, right? So we designed this platform to solve the real problems we ourselves struggled with earlier, right? And now I know there are other GRC platforms out there that claim to do the similar things, right? So I'm not denying that, right? But here is what we are different from others, right? So the first is we put data sovereignty, and AI and security first design at the core, right? And what that means is your data stays under your control in your environment, and our AI agents help automate and simplify the compliance, right? So to put it very simple, right? Then, other things that we also do is just to differentiate ourselves from others. We follow some best practices like OSCAL. So OSCAL is Open Security Controls Assessment Language. It is led by NIST. So in simple terms, it makes policies mission readable. So what's written in your policies is actually practiced and continuously monitored as well, right, by the platform. So instead of having, just having the compliance on the paper, CISOGenie ensures your controls are alive, active, and always audit ready.
Lovely. Excellent. So thanks, Shankar, for giving a heads up there. So
One more
following
thing,
that, yeah,
Vinod, just to add, right? So just to give a analogy, right? It is also like how do I say? So practicing preventive healthcare, right? So you don't just wait for a heart attack
Very true.
for you to do a regular health check, right?
Absolutely.
So your regular health checks monitor your cholesterol or blood pressure or sugar levels and stay within the safe threshold, right? That way you can reasonably confident that you will avoid any major incidents for years to come, right? It's a similar principle, right? CISOGenie continuously monitors, controls, automates the evidence collection and keep the compliance aligned across the framework. This predictive approach, it reduces the risk and it prevents incidents, and and also and ensure that even if something unexpected happens, right, over and above it can happen, right? It's the same thing like as a health, right? You are protected from penalties, insurance rejections, regulatory setbacks, and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for giving that heads up, Shankar. That really is very informative. And I really love the idea of the name CISOGenie. It's a genie for the CISO, right? So that's very impressive. So having said that, in today's fast changing world, right, and having seen the kind of attrition that is happening on the market, both from the company and by the employees, right, I don't see any roles, maybe analysts, consultants, or any, any roles are staying in the company forever, right? For reasonably at least 5 years, 10 years. I don't see that now. It's very fast changing, right? So if I have a CISO or a DPO in my organization who is handling the privacy portion of the company or the compliance portion of the company, I often notice that there is a big issue where someone follows the process for 1 year, they set up the process and everything, and suddenly they're gone, they're vanished, right? So, how do you think CISO Genie can be of help here? Will that be of help?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a fantastic question, right? So, certainly it is a big challenge, right? A big challenge across the world, right? Not just India. And the cybersecurity is it's a hot job. And then, people get to move around quite a bit, right? And also, I mean, this is one of the biggest advantage of for using CISOGenie. Usually, when a CISO or key IT manager, let's say, or infrastructure person or security analyst, whoever, right, they leave, they take the knowledge of the compliance program with them, right?
Yeah.
So compliance is something is non-negotiable, right? You can't say tomorrow when there is an issue and the auditor comes, oh, the someone has left because of that. We are not able to keep it up with that, right? So CISOGenie acts as a centralized source of truth, right? So all your policies, evidence, your historical data are stored in the platform, right? It is not in someone's personal email. It is not in the local drive, or you don't know where he kept it, SharePoint and nothing of that sort. It's
Very true.
all in one place, right? So even if a team member, a critical person moves out, the new person can step in and see exactly where things stand and ensuring the company doesn't lose the compliance status and they can carry forward with it.
Absolutely. I think it totally makes sense, especially having said about my experience. I've had seen cybersecurity leads of organizations who carry the complaints with them, the other company they go to, right? And what happens? The complaints folders are missing, the Excel sheets are missing, there's no proper inventory of where they stored what, right? And
Exactly.
having
Yeah.
said, if CISOGenie can solve this problem, I think this would be a great benefit for a lot of companies to have a structured inventory of policies, documents, and all the required evidences. Right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So, another question, having said about evidence, right? So, I did see in CISOGenie's website, it spoke something about agentic AI for evidence collection, right? So, when you talk about the word evidence collection, right? So, usually in organizations, uh, respective team members have to get access to a particular ERP, CRM, cloud systems, AV, EDR, XDR to take evidences, screenshots, and etc. to document it for the complaints, right? But most times than not, there is a reservation for the team leads to give access to the respective stakeholders for doing that activity, right? So I'm little, I'm little bugged about the idea that I don't want to share confidential login details to someone or give them access. So what is this agentic AI for evidence collection in CISOGenie? What does that actually do?
Hey, great question, Vinod. And again, thanks for having us here. And it's a nice segue from talking about evidence system of records into agentic AI. One of the primary reasons why we have CISOGenie is that all vendors, all GRC vendors that we use that we have seen so far, the concept is that like you have articulated well, we have to store credentials in the GRC platform, and then it automatically integrates with various tools, fetches evidence periodically. It does all of that. While it might sound great and convenient, there's a huge red flag here. We are sharing or storing something as sensitive as credentials in a third-party system. Now, what happens if that has a breach, right? All our credentials are compromised, our accounts are compromised, and we have to go through a nightmare of setting up everything again and all that, right? So this is one of the significant differentiations in CISOGenie. Here, we never ask the customers to show their credentials on the platform at all, because that is what AI is for, right? To solve hard problems. And true to our motto of sincere AI, what we have done here is built an AI agent that sits in the customer's environment, right? It could be in their office, data center, cloud, wherever. And you configure your credentials. It could be a machine that just the GRC lead or the compliance head has access to. They configure credentials there. The credentials never leave the environment of the customer at all, ever. Now, when you have to collect evidences, it could be quarterly, half yearly, it could be various compliance requirements has various frequency, right? So you set that up on the platform. A job goes to the client, and the client collects evidences, including triggering a browser if need be. Now, one might ask, how is this different from, say, a Playwright or Selenium kind of tool which can open up a
Yeah.
browser and collect evidence? Right,
Mhm.
and that's a valid question again. So the differentiation here is in CISOGenie, we tell that collect evidence for A8.24 using, say, M365 or using Intune MDM. So the agent knows that this is a tool that I can collect evidences from browser. Again, like other tools, it can also do API collection, but it does browser evidence collection, which is very unique, right? It can open up a browser. It knows that if the tool is M365, it has to log into admin.microsoft.com. And for A8.24, it knows that it has to go through uh, Intune, for data address encryption. We don't ask it to go to Intune and check things. It goes there, it checks for policies, and verifies if data address is configured. Right. So this is the autonomous nature. This is why we need AI, and this is where agentic AI differentiates and distinguishes from browser automation. Right. So that is something that we do, and in a credential safe way, like you had originally asked. That is something that a value proposition that CISOGenie gives you.
Oh, wonderful. That's really excellent because, talking about password managers, right? Companies like LastPass, Passkeep, etc. I've seen a lot of news about them getting compromised, right? They are
True.
place where you store passwords like a key store, and
Yeah.
imagine that getting compromised, right? So one of the key reasons that I asked if that could be automated by not sharing the username passwords for doing evidence collection. I think this is a big move. I don't know of any other tool in the market that actually does this today, right? I've
Great.
yeah, I've had a chance to work on Vanta. I've worked on Drata. I've worked on Tugboat. I've worked on Archer. I've worked on few more tools, right? Get Probo. I worked on the Open Lane, but unfortunately, none of them has this evidence collection the way you are describing. I'm really excited and want to know how it is actually happening, right?
Great.
So,
Sure.
yeah, having said about the way you are doing evidence collection, just wanted to ensure how is the sovereignty of the data maintained?
Another great question. If you, like I said, the data, there are two aspects to this. One is the credentials part, the other is actual evidence, right? The credentials, we saw that it's stored always in the customer's premise, it never leaves it. Now, what's equally important is evidence, because it's for compliance, more often than not has sensitive data, and one might not be comfortable uploading to a platform, uploading to a third-party system. We understand this because we've been through the same problem in our early organizations. Right? So the way we have solved this is by allowing customers to configure their data store. So they could say if they have an AWS account, they could configure their an S3 bucket as their evidence data store. So when evidence collection happens, it happens on a machine in their environment.
Got
From
it.
there, the data, the agent triggers, the agent acts on it, collects evidence, and then evidence is uploaded directly to their S3 bucket. So the flow of data is from their a machine in their environment to a bucket they own. It never hits CISOGenie at all.
Got it. Okay.
Likewise, when they view evidences, right, on a browser, from the S3 bucket that they own, the evidence is directly rendered on their laptop, on their device.
Okay.
So either while writing, creating evidences or
Wow.
viewing evidences, it never hits CISOGenie. They have absolute data control.
Oh, that's lovely. So that's a very novel way of handling the sensitive data. I've never heard of someone doing this. So kudos to your team for doing that. So yeah, having said, let me clarify my understanding, Bala. So CISOGenie is a product or a SaaS product which is focused for small and medium scale companies who are looking to fasten up their compliance journey in a more regulated, organized pattern. Is my
Yeah,
understanding right?